and Women's National Championships, coming to you from West Beach at South Australia, on beautiful Ghana land. Joining me today on the commentary, softball SA legend James Harris. Pitch 2, and the lead-off, Tasumi, has grounded out to the right, the second base for Victoria. We'll just catch you up. It's all happened very quickly. Mr. James Harris, how are you, sir?
Doing very well, thanks, Anthony. Yeah, huge day of softball, day 2. After day 1, all the nerves are out the way, and very interesting look on the ladder that you've got up in front of us as well, Anthony. Today is the big one, though. This will end out the first round.
Yeah, absolutely. And this game for these two teams here, especially for one of them, very, very important. Victoria, this becomes a must-win game, because you just called a heart-stopper, because WA have just picked up their 3rd win.
Second win.
Second win, sorry.
Second win. They only played 2 yesterday.
Yep.
They went 1-1. They had a win in the bottom of the 7th yesterday off a squeeze play. Well, today they did their best chance to gave their best chance to ACT to come back from 6-2 down with the tying run on 3rd. Great catch from Sarah Rio to end the game 6-5. So 2 close wins for WA in their first 3 games. Up against it though today, well, this time slot on the other game on Diamond 1, they're facing up against New South Wales. Heavily favourites after yesterday, you would say. Yeah,
and I just watched New South Wales just put Queensland to the sword, 7-zip, with a Stacey Porter walk-off home run in the 5th. Brutal.
So they did that yesterday, didn't they? Stacey Porter walk-off home run against ACT in a 9-0 game. So they're now 23 runs for and no runs against. Yep,
and Porter just flicked her wrists out the front of the zone and took the ball 235 feet. But to bring you back to here, Tamika Whitefield, the second base for Queensland, she's currently battling Nicole Martin, and she's won that first battle as she's just picked herself a walk, as Queensland get an early base runner here in the top of the 1st. Coming to the plate now, it's the centre fielder, Jade Wall. Yeah, this game is massive, because that WA, that shake-up now puts Victoria in, there's genuine heat there now. They're going to have to get on with it, and this is a game that they're going to have to try and pick up after they've lost to WA in the first game yesterday at a 6-5 heartstopper, as you said, James. Wall takes a pitch high.
Yeah, WA, Victoria, ACT are currently all battling for that final and 4th spot, because you can see Queensland and South Australia on that table, 2 wins and 1 loss. New South Wales 2-0 now, they're 3-0. Queensland are 2-2. SA yet to play today.
Whitefield goes, and Rigg throws the ball. Schaefer nearly gets collided to with the base runner there as she tries to stop the steal, but Whitefield's safe. Coach Jenkins for Queensland here aggressively pushing the Heat into a scoring position with the quality hitter that is Jade Wall at the plate.
Yeah, I saw her smash a couple yesterday.
Oh, it's a big cut. Yeah.
Big double to the fence and then a home run over the fence.
Well, Kyle and I were here last night, and we did the ACT Queensland game, and literally the wind was so strong it looked like a home run heroes game. Nearly everybody was in on the dirt. That's how strong the wind was. So for those watching at home, this diamond faces the beach, so the reality is your right field is directly towards the sand, so it's a stronger breeze here on Diamond 2, which means that the players are all hitting into it and the pitchers are all pitching with it. So it's one of those fields where you really need to try and get that ball flat. Whoa, chases up.
Yeah, while you were out here freezing, I was sitting under a tent with the Minister for Sport, Katrine Hilliard, coming out, great supporter of softball.
I heard that she's put herself in the mix in the pitching rotation going next year. Is that right?
Yeah, Australian selectors caught up with her after the game. I'm not lying. They had a chat to her, and
yeah. And Jade Wall, everything I just said about that fly ball, she's line drived it out to right field, and she's basically sacrificed herself to advance the runner here as Whitefield makes it to 3rd. A good catch by the impressive Amelia Mercury, as you can see here on the Eastern replay.
Great team hitting from Wall, but hitting behind the runner. and it was deep enough that Whitefield was always going to make it to third and a good catch. Take.
Clean up here to Suzuki Yamane, the shortstop. Just made some impressive plays in the field yesterday, had some great pieces with the ball. But Amelia McCurry was one of the players of the day yesterday on day one. There wasn't anything she couldn't do. She batted in some runs. She was making great plays in the field, great base running. Very impressive first day at the Nationals. Here she goes. She chases it up to Yamane. About that player that we're talking about, but the wind that we were talking about also forces Kari Pritchard to cut her off as she takes the ball. As you can see here on the Eastern replay, well judged catch by Pritchard, eyes on the ball the whole way, and she takes it just in front of the grass to retire the Queensland heat.
Well, they look pretty good, Queensland, with Tamika Whitefield looking dangerous around the base path, but Victoria able to deny Queensland in the top of the first. Some good pitching from Nicole Martin and some great defence. A couple of good catches from the Victorians, McCurry and Pritchard.
And we'll just take this quick opportunity in the absence of Lee Ho here today. He's just having a bit of a rest. We're just going to run you around the diamond here. It's the veteran Sandra Holden pitching to Matisse Sorbello, I think for her first work behind the dish this weekend. To Lula Sinikasiva, who had a great game against New South Wales. Some great plays, made a great backhand at third base off of a rocket hit to her. Tamika Whitefield is the second base. Suzuki Yamane is the shortstop. Dorinda Stone is the third base. Rhiannon Kemp comes in at left field. Jay Wall just hit that deep ball to right. She's at centre. And Rena Tatsumi is at right field.
Did that well, mate. Well done. Sivanasiva.
Sivanasiva, yeah. I was saying her name right about 2 hours ago, but it hasn't taken long and the wheels are off. Leading off for the Victorian Titans will be their DP flex, Caitlin Laird, followed by the right fielder, Amelia McCurry. So, yeah.
Now, speaking of Lee, we know we'll probably be watching, so get well soon, mate. Well, hopefully we see you back tomorrow as well. But when I'm doing play-by-play and hosting, I let him go around the diamond.
Oh, no, Lee, I apologise. I've done it. I should have handed that over to the great man.
That's all right. Maybe I can do the next
innings, you can do the other one. I apologise. I think it was the last game because I was by myself. I had to do the whole thing. So, Sandra Holden has come straight out of the game as the flex. Brooke McNamara has been activated straight away, and she'll start the pitching duties here. And she's pitching to the Victorian Titan leadoff, Caitlin Laird. High for ball one.
Yeah, McNamara threw very well yesterday against WA.
Yeah, she came on last night in a difficult situation too against the Diamonds.
A legal pitch called from Darren.
So here's an opportunity to jump around the umpire.
Oh, well, thanks to Spaceway Sports. So in bar 66, I'll go around the umpires, if you like. Andy Burke is the plate umpire, Darren Clark at first, and Brett Tyler is over at third base.
Yes, the newly appointed level 6, the sleeve, as we commonly refer to him here.
You might I refer to him as Sir, as I do with all the umpires.
You do that, exactly, especially in your playing days. Caitlin Laird here fighting Brooke McNamara as she's just got herself a walk, and a lead-off walk for the Titans brings the left-handed speedster McCurry to the plate.
She had a great under-23s, Caitlin Laird, spearheading the Victorian lineup. Are you going to go around the grounds when we get a chance, or is that something you want me to do?
That's something I want you to do.
Perfect. So we're communicating, which is good. Our therapist will be happy with that.
McCurry shows bunt as the Queensland defence jumps into action here. Laird with a big jump, but no play. Coach Rigg running the signals here in what is an important game for the Titans.
Yeah, third place last year, and it was against Queensland. They won the elimination final.
McCurry hands out in front, but fouls the bunt off, and it hits the back fence behind it. Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, Nicole Martin, you know, she was super impressive last year. I got to see her in an open one game at Waverley back in November, and I watched her live, and she was super impressive. And again yesterday continued. Mercury does it again with a great shot up the 6-5 hole. Just throws her hands at it. Ball placement. Somebody who's in complete control here, as we'll probably see on the Eastern replay. She just puts the ball exactly where she wants it.
Yeah, very well placed from Mercury. You know what I was impressed by, equally as impressed by, was left fielder Rhiannon Kemp. She can see that there's a bit of a lip on that grass dirt edge, and so she made sure she fielded it in front of the ball. Otherwise, anything could have happened, caused some chaos, and already threatening here the Titans with runners at 1 and 2.
And the danger power hitter for Victoria, Kylie Steamers, had some impressive at-bats. Started with a triple down the right side yesterday. She gets an opportunity here with runners at 1 and 2. McNamara jams her on the inside and she fouls off to third base for an early strike.
Yeah, this is your famous play, Anthony, with runners at 1 and 2 and none out.
Yeah. yeah. And the more and more that we talk about it, James, over what we do in the CMAX Premier League back home, it's the game has evolved, and that's why I no longer coach. Is pretty much the message that I'm getting. As Steamers shows you why, as she grounds the ball as a centre field single. Coach Riggs aggressively sends Laird, who doesn't slide at the plate, and gets tagged out running through. And the Victorian coaches, you can see, looking at each other as...
Well, Eastern replay, if you're going to take on an Olympian, you're going to make sure that you're putting everything on the line. And Jade Wall just gets the throw on the spot. So Bello gets a simple pick up off the ground, and the play was always going to be at the plate. It was a good tag in the end by Sorbello. It was just off target, but it was close enough. So great play from Jade Wall, denying Victoria in the first.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, wow. Carey Pritchard, the second base player, super busy in the field yesterday. Her first couple of at-bats in game 1 against WA, she was just fouling the ball off. She couldn't get it into play. And then later in the day, as the day went on, she just started lining the ball into play, and that's why she's in the clean-up spot. Mercury with a massive jump off at second. And great batting by Pritchard as McNamara teases her up the top of the zone.
Yeah, I like that from Mercury, getting a big jump, because the middle infielders are holding back, waiting on what the hitter does, and Mercury's got that speed to be able to get back in time.
Yeah, low on the dirt. The one thing we noticed too was that throwing into this wind, it wasn't just so much about holding the ball up for the catches as they were throwing the ball into the wind, but what it was doing to the ball when it got there. It was starting to swirl around just a little bit. It'd either drop it a little bit or push it aside. So expecting some steal plays as Pritchard throws her hands out in front, fouls it off over the first base line.
Is this Queensland's 4th game on the backfield?
I saw them yesterday, yeah, and it very much could be.
So they've already played 1 today, so this is their second.
Yeah, they played over there on the first one.
Which means I think that's
Pritchard
today.
Doesn't clear the infield. Good pace of the ball. She just doesn't been able to extend. Hits up the top of the barrel, and Sinavasiva takes an easy catch.
Yeah, this is Queensland's last game of the day. We haven't seen SA yet. WA's got 3 games.
New South Wales are playing their last game of the day right now.
No, 5:30 against Victoria.
Oh, sorry, that you're 100% right. Today's their triple header. McNamara throwing to the left fielder, Kat Lammel. It's 2 out. We're in the bottom of the first, 0-all, as Queensland take on Victoria. Day 2 live softball action. McNamara freezes her with a change-up, but Blue doesn't come to the party. Lammel chased up high. Stone just takes a slow rolling grounder to her, plays her base behind her, Mercury, as fast as she is, couldn't get there for that, as the Heat returned the favour, retiring the Titans with base runners left on as we go into the top of the second at 0-all.
Yeah, pretty good defence from both teams after early threats. And you'd think that Caitlin Laird's missed opportunity at the plate. Hopefully that doesn't come back to bite them, as they're actually fighting to stay alive in this tournament here, Victoria. It's already day 2, but you don't want to be on a negative count come the end of the first round. But speaking of the first round, we can see New South Wales on Diamond 1 playing WA for the first time in this tournament. New South Wales jumped out to an early 2-run lead. Bottom of the first, and well, that player again, McKenna Dow for WA featuring, and she's on base. So there's a view of one of our potential future sponsors, Qatar Airways. Well, we won't say no to the money.
So we had, you're speaking of the player Dow, watched her run from shortstop yesterday. She ran all the way from shortstop over to the fence, and at no stage did she look to the fence to catch a fly ball. And the only thing that stopped that play from happening was her basically getting pancaked by that fence. It was just so courageous. And the only reason she spilled the ball was because she made contact with the fence. It was a huge play. So,
well, she featured in many highlights in that last game against the ACT in WA's second win of the tournament.
So the DP who got flexed in at the start of the game, Brooke McNamara, the pitcher, is now the hitter. She is up against the Victorian #1 starter, Nicole Martin. And James, in between pitches, do you want to take us around the Victorian defence?
Yes, Anthony, I will. That was my best league impression, actually. Nicole Martin's pitching to Kiara Rigg at first base, Kylie Steamers, Carrie Pritchard at second, Sarah Bills at third, Rebecca Schaefer at shortstop, outfield left to right, Kat Lamel, Alana Panza and Amelia Mercury.
McNamara gets a good piece of this as she line drives the ball over the first base coach for the Heat as she fouls it off.
McNamara had a 27 pitch at bat yesterday. It wasn't, but it felt like it. And then her next turn at bat, first pitch swinging. Yeah, she fouled off, I think, about 8 in a row. That's not made up.
Yeah, well, that's what I was saying about Pritchard too. A couple of her first at bats for Victoria were lengthy T20 events. They were taking that long, but she's definitely come to play today. So McNamara now behind in the count. The impressive Nicole Martin. Continues to throw rockets as she fouls that one off McNamara down to the third base line. Martin was one of those pitchers I saw when I was over at Waverley, and obviously remembering from the tournament last year where she was one of the standout players of the tournament for the Titans, and in the time, the whole thing all together. Just one of those pitchers, just gets on you quicker than you think. So it's got a really deceiving change. This one hit to Schaefer. Great play by Beck Schaefer as she defends the middle of the Titans infield with great feet. She gets up to the middle and makes a great throw, returning the Queensland Heat leadoff, as we see here on the Eastern replay.
Yeah, she read it really well off the bat. She broke up the middle, gloves it cleanly and throws it over the top of second base for the out.
Kylie Steamers does a great job making the infield smaller every time she's there. Just that big step off and leap. Left fielder Rhiannon Kemp had a very impressive under-23s last year and now elevated into the Open Women's team. Valuable contributor. Fouls that one off.
Exceptional young athlete, Rhiannon Kemp. But just quickly to go back to Caitlin Leach, did she win the pitching award last year?
Nicole Martin.
Nicole Martin? What did I say? Caitlin Laird.
Yep.
I was just going to say that you would think that the importance of this game for Victoria is that Caitlin Laird is named as the DP, so she could come in for Nicole Martin at some stage should she need it. But I think they're going after this game, the Queensland versus Vic.
Rick just leaving the ball there just a little bit longer across the plate. Martin just misses.
Catchers don't like it when the umpires miss one that they've framed really nicely.
Rhiannon Kemp, one of the Australian players that was at the Canada Cup in one of the teams. Similar pitch, just misses.
Gee, the wind is still causing a bit of havoc, isn't it? I don't know if I want the glasses. I'm trying to hold the paper down, trying to write with the other hand.
Well, just watch out for that monitor, because that attacked me last night. So Kemp chases up. Difficult play for Lammel out at left field. Makes it look simple as she transitions from the grass to the dirt as she retires the second Queensland Heat player.
2 quick outs and a good catch out there at left field for Victoria. Schaefer was backing back from shortstop, but she was nowhere near it, so she obviously heard the call from the left fielder and got out the way. 2 outs.
Tallulah Sivanasiva has come to the plate at 2 out, the first base player. And first pitch ground out over to Pritchard at second. Stevens takes the easy catch, and 1, 2, 3. Martin has retired the Queensland Heat as we move into the bottom of the second.
Well, good quick inning for Victoria, and Nicole Martin getting the job done. Now, she won the pitching award last year, Anthony.
It's good that you should say that. That's a good pickup. She was super impressive, and she had a lot of work to do, but it was one of the big reasons that Victoria did push as they did with their upset win over Queensland in that first semi-final. Lots of people online watching, so we love your feedback. We love the interaction, so...
whoa. We like some of the feedback.
Okay, sure. No, we love all the feedback. We want to be able to deliver the best that we can for everybody watching around Australia and around the world. So some great big names from around the world that were watching the New South Wales Queensland game earlier today. Sharon O'Mara was one of those people over in the US checking in on probably some of her young proteges from back in the day. So so we love your feedback. Tell us where you're watching from. Tell us who you're supporting. Get interactive here on Spacequake Sports. Beck Schaefer, the shortstop for Victoria, leads off the bottom of the second here for the Victorian Titans.
She had an impressive season last year with the Opens and then under 23s, got back-to-back events. She played in both of them. Fouls this one off, and rewarded for effort as well. She went across and played in the Canada Cup.
Yep.
With the youth squad or the development squad.
One of the many teams that Australia send over there. So, she's quality shortstop. Fly ball, difficult for the shortstop for Queensland as the wind, as you can see in the screens there, as it swirls up. But Yamane holds her ground, makes a good out here on the Eastern replay.
Yeah, Yamane read it really well. She held her ground. She didn't have to shift or move around all over the place and took a good catch. Very impressive that she wasn't stressed at all by the sun or the wind.
Shout out to James from Hayden Masson. Hope all is going well. So we'll pass it on to the great man.
A Victorian that played as a player for South Australia in Canberra a few years back. He was a youth Aussie squad member. Good kid.
Third base player Sarah Beals comes to the plate.
They tell me he's a bit of an animal on the footy field.
Change up by McNamara as the ball is fouled off down the third base line. Sarah Beals' first year back at the Titans. She's just taken a little bit of time off for motherhood after having her baby girl, Bowie.
Couple of new mums in the cup. Tori Boland as well.
Yeah.
We saw that for WA back playing in the Gillies.
Jordan Harris. High. Bill stays off it. Yes, Jordan Harris, South Australian superstar player with young Maeve. Hopefully going to take in her mother's footsteps. One out in the bottom of the second here. Nobody on. Beals goes down looking to an inside rocket from Brooke McNamara. Makes it 2.
That's a great pitch from McNamara down at the bottom of the zone, and Beals could do nothing about that.
It's the young centre fielder Alana Panza at the plate. Comes to the plate at 2 out. Hit 429 at the 23s against the best youth in the country.
Yeah, had a great 23s. It was a second time playing in Adelaide in the 23s in a 7-month period.
Still eligible to play in the under 18s. Only 17 years old.
Right.
Crazy. She's facing Brooke McNamara from the Queensland Heat.
It's like Alex Maiden from ACT's playing all 3 age groups this year as well.
Well, didn't Taylor Chillingworth do that for
And
South?
Neve Adams did that last year.
Taylor Chillingworth going on to win some great awards here for her efforts.
SA Sport Award Emerging Athlete of the Year. And a 2-time winner of the SA Sport Awards as part of the Stars team that won the South Australian Sports Team of the Year. So nice credit to the Stars for a great performance in 2022. It's a new year though, so we start over.
And Panza's not got all of it, but she's hit it back to the pitcher on the full, and McNamara has taken a great reflex catch as she retires the Titans. Yes, for those home just there on the Eastern replay.
Yeah, she just stuck her glove up.
Yeah.
And almost guessed a little bit. It's like, oh, because it didn't come off hard, did it?
No, the wind sort of grabbed it and slowed it up, so she had to stand there and wait for it to come there. Yes, for those that are local, come down to the ballpark today at West Beach at Barrett Reserve, because at 3 p.m. your national champion SA Stars take on the ACT Diamonds, and they back it up at 8 o'clock tonight when they play the WA Flames. Hot dog day here for Bar 66 and Red Star Cafe. So tomorrow it's bakery day for pies and pasties and so on. And Thursday we're going to have ourselves an old-fashioned Australian barbecue as we move towards Australia Day as the tournament comes to a close on the Friday.
Brilliant work from the team out at the Red Stars Cafe and Bar 66.
Yes. Currently being run by a young 16-year-old Ranger who's apparently made 4,000 cheese toasties just this morning. Matisse Sorbello, the catcher for the Queensland Heat, leads off in the top of the third. Both teams currently scoreless. Titans have had a few base runners opportunities, and Caitlin Laird in a bang-bang play at the plate. Sorbello checks her swing as base umpire Darren Clark says no, she did not. Heard a slight grunt just to my left, suggesting that could be otherwise. Sorbello checks again. Yes, the ramifications of the end of round one today, James, are huge. It's for Victoria to lose this and actually fall a couple of games behind, basically puts them into a massive shootout with WA, who are showing some great form and some great bravado. You had the opportunity to check in with the Flames pre-tournament, and the messaging coming out of that was that they were going to be aggressive, they were going to take the game on, and boy, have they delivered.
Yeah, 2 early wins in 3 games.
I mean, you look at the 5 stars and you look at the 7 Olympians on paper, and it's just it's an all-star team. But for the Flames, they don't maybe have the names on paper, but boy, have they got the effort and the passion to drive that game forward. They are up and about in a big way. Sorbello up in a big way. She line drives that ball down the third base line as she takes the count to full.
Sorbello's had a great start to this tournament, already played in a few of their games, going to carry a heavy load behind the plate, catching in the absence of Brooke Stewart, who was a late withdrawal. Had some good plate appearances at the bottom of the order. Looking solid here today, fouling off a couple.
Shout out to Craig Robinson, loving all the games being available to watch on Space Quake Sports. Tori Williams supporting the Vicks. Carolyn Margaret supporting the Vicks. Tracy Wright with a shout out for Lee. I know she checked in on him yesterday, just making sure he had his fruit sandwich at lunchtime, which, don't worry everybody, he did. And that's not the reason he's not well. It's just the fact that he's not as youthful as he used to be, and we're saving him up for the big games at the end.
That's it. That's it. Now, man, he'll be back for sure.
That's why we're doing the heavy lifting here. James Harris on the mic with us today. SA men's softball superstar, but also, more importantly, one of the men driving the sport here in the state, and we appreciate all the work that he does along with his army of volunteers and staff. Matt Williams, Ben Lucas, we thank them. Kelsey Nucky, Joe Liddell, lots of help. And Matisse Sorbello needs no more help, because she's done her job, and that is get herself to first base, which is what she's done with a well-picked walk, as Queensland start off the top of the third with a lead-off walk, bringing third base player Dorinda Stone. Played a good short ball game yesterday. She sets up for short ball. Schaefer ready at second base. Pritchard checks her over at first. No play, early strike.
Queensland against WA yesterday in their first game of the tournament started out with 4 doubles from their first 9 batters. Dorinda Stone was the 9th batter and was the 4th double.
Here she goes. She's laid a back sacrifice bunt down to Beals. Throws her out to Pritchard at first, but Lehigh would be happy with that. As we look on the Eastern replays, Dorinda Stone executes a perfect sacrifice bunt, advances Sorbello to second, and Queensland, with 1 out, come back to the top of their lineup, and it's the leadoff Rena Tatsumi with a runner in scoring position. 1 out.
Both of Queensland's base runners in this game so far have come from walks. Tamika Whitefield, who's in the on-deck circle, and Matisse Sorbello.
Yes, early run here is going to mean all the difference for one of these teams. Force the other team to chase. Get them to play a different way to what they're doing currently. Martin going to work against the top of the Queensland lineup. Tatsumi's been impressive, not only with her field work at right field, but also aggressive base running, slap hitting, and power hitting. She can do it all. Here she takes a cut, fast hands, fouls it off. So just checking in on the other game, which you can tune into, which is New South Wales playing WA on Diamond 1. We'll get a score update for you shortly. Tatsumi drives it up. The wind grabs at Lamel, sets up for it at left field. It tails away strongly, but she's good enough with eyes on the ball the whole way as it takes her over to the foul line on the third base side. but she takes an impressive catch.
It was always going to be trouble as we watch the Eastern replay. You can see that she started directly behind the shortstop and ended up having to take a step off the line. The wind is pushing heavily towards the east offshore, and you might even be able to see some of the dust blowing across the diamond on screen. Here's Tamika Whitefield.
2 out for the Queensland Heat. Solbello has come out as the pinch runner, speed up runner has come on for her. I believe it's Soraya
Hampson.
Yep. Batted 2 in the last game for Queensland against New South Wales. Martin challenges her. Whitefield jammed on the top of the handle. Schaefer fields the ball. The throw is good, but she's too quick as Whitefield beats out the throw as Solbello's made it over to third.
That's some pretty sharp softball. Firstly, from Schaefer. Whitefield was jammed a little on the Eastern replay. Schaefer had to come and get it. She fires it across, but it was great wheels from Whitefield. Steamers with some heads up. First base play, tries to get the runner, who's the speed up runner in Hampson, who took an extra couple of steps off of third. Jade Wall is getting passed up as we will now see the bases loaded for Queensland, and Tamika Whitefield will advance automatically to second.
Isn't that unusual when you see another player walked to bring the cleanup hitter to the plate in the shortstop? Yamane says, who's fouled that first pitch off in the inside. That being said, it is Jade Wall, which is a good reason to pass the batter up. Second of all, it also creates the force. And considering the wind in these conditions, you want to put everything in your favour.
Yeah. Well, she flew at the right field in her first at-bat, and she's had a few outfield hits already in this tournament.
Here, she's got it to the inside. Schaefer, nothing she could do because she's done a good job with the backhand fielding, but Yamane was just too fast up the line, and she didn't get enough time because of the great running by the lead runner at Whitefield.
Well, I don't need to make a special comment now because that was exactly what I was going to say. You can see on screen on the Eastern replay how quick Whitefield was, which changed Schaefer's mind as she took it on the backhand side. The force play was to third base, but Whitefield was super quick, and so there was no play there. So Schaefer then had to look up to see Yamane, who was super quick, and there was no play at one. So an infield single that scores a run for Queensland, and we're on the board.
And now the powerful Brooke McNamara, the pitcher for Queensland, comes to the plate, who's hit some long balls as well. Yeah, you just about, I mean, it's difficult for the infield here. I mean, we saw the shuffle in last night where a lot of the field came in. You really just about have to tell Schaefer on that side of the diamond maybe just to field a bit shallower because it's difficult out there. McNamara goes bang, line drive down the third base line, 2/3 of the way down the fence, the long shot. Queensland starting to put some heat literally on the Victorian Titans here. As you can just see on your cameras there as the dust flies across the diamond. As we said to you earlier, the batters are facing the beach basically, and there's not much between us and them, so the beach in that regard. Martin to McNamara, the ball's loose, it's hit the back fence, and the run scores across the plate on the pass ball as the Heat now take a 2-0 lead over the Titans here in the top of the third.
Yeah, it just gets away from Martin, and it's now the force is taken off with runners at 2 and 3. Seventh batter to the plate, McNamara.
McNamara fouls it off, nearly takes out the centre fielder Jay Wall in the process, who's at third. Another long at bat for a Queensland power hitter. Rumour is that New South Wales are 2-0 up over on the back diamond there against WA.
Yeah, they scored those runs early, so WA settling a little bit. Well, not a bad pitch with McNamara behind in the count. Ball called. Miss the plate or coming a bit high?
Yeah. Don't know about the height, so it must have missed the play. The height looked pretty good from here.
2-2 count.
Just misses again.
I'm not sure where that's missing it. We're side on. Normally we're a little bit behind the plate, but we're side on here on the backfield. Either way, payoff pitch.
And McNamara goes bang, and Schaefer, after fielding 2 balls at shortstop where there's nothing she could do, does a great job in just jumping up into the air and takes a great catch on the line drive.
It looked like it gone past it. I don't know if the breeze has played a part in this one because it was hit pretty hard. A line drive. You can see Schaefer on the Eastern replay at full stretch take a great catch, denying Queensland, or denying them any further runs at least. Great play.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to move into the bottom of the third here as Victoria now chasing 2 runs. So going to probably see a change in their mindset because we're nearly halfway in this game, and we've talked about the importance of it at the end of round 1 today. Queensland, this is their final game for the day. Victoria have to back up against the New South Wales Fire Stars at 5:30, which will be a huge game. The Fire Stars been very impressive in their opening 3 games so far today, leading WA at the moment. And you can watch those games live on Spacequake Sports through the Facebook feed. All 34 games of the Gilley Shield here for the 75th anniversary are being broadcast. So we're bringing you both games. So whilst we're keeping you updated with the scores, the reality is if you want to check those games out, you can check it out live, streaming softball coming to you from West Beach, South Australia, here on beautiful Ghana land. Leading off for the Victorian Titans, it's the catcher, Kiara Rigg. Big cut, first pitch. Thanks, Kerry, for keeping us updated with the scores. I think she's got two Spacequake feeds going on at her house at the moment. She's on both screens, so thank you for keeping us updated. And she loves the catch by Beck Schaefer, and what a catch it was to retire the Heat in the last innings.
What better way to spend your day than softball, live softball action. 4th game of the day being played at the moment. Then we've got single games for the rest of the day. 3 p.m. SA, ACT, 5:30 Victoria, New South Wales, and then 8 p.m. WA versus SA.
Just remember, of course, those times, Australian Central Daylight. So make sure over here in South Australia, make sure you adjust your clocks. And you can also access all that information at softball.org.au for live scores and streaming results. Back to the action here as McNamara and Rigg go at it here in the bottom of the third. Rigg looking to be a base runner the Titans desperately need as they chase a 2-0 deficit. And lead-off walk for the Titans as Victoria gets their lead-off person on. Returns us to the top of the lineup. It's their lead-off originally, Caitlin Laird,
who also led off the Victorian bottom half of the first inning with a base on ball. So 4 base runners from the first 9 batters for Victoria, not yet to put a score on the board.
Well, no activity in the pen for Queensland. Not that you would expect to be, as McNamara doing a good job at the moment keeping them at bay. They've got some players there that they can call on though in need. Laird chases up. You've got the veteran Sandra Holden, or the young guns who we saw in the last game. Emily Solomon came in late against the New South Wales Fire Stars after a great start by the pitcher of the tournament for the 23s. Laird gets underneath it. That ball well taken by Suzuki Yamani at shortstop. She just backtracks, eyes on the ball the whole way for an early first out. Again, Victoria unable to advance their base runner.
Yeah, Laird just popping one up to shallow shortstop, and Coach Rigg would have wanted something more from that, you'd think, after the leadoff got on from a walk. Timeout called from Mercury as that dust blows into the face of the batter.
Mercury drags the ball over to the left side of the diamond, but a good play made by the pitcher as lead runner is thrown out.
Yeah, good play from the Queenslanders with that fielder's choice.
Yeah, Whitefield gets in and nearly looks down the barrel of a double play. Kylie Steamer is the first base player. Victoria 2 out. Mercury at first. Bottom of the third, Queensland 2, Victoria 0. Impressive athletes. Deem has hit some long balls yesterday. Victoria definitely going to need her to be one of those positive contributors today to get back into this game as Queensland hold the early lead. Fouls it off.
Steamers hit a shot up the middle, her first plate appearance, and on that play, Caitlin Laird tried to take 2 bases and was thrown out by Jade Wall at the plate.
Inside out, throws her hands at it, gets underneath it and lifts the ball over the first base bench for a foul ball. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Yeah, foul balls everywhere, but on this demon, on this particular diamond, that's no mean feat. Lee said yesterday, she's big, she's strong, she's athletic. That's the scout report, and Steamers pretty much spot on. Now one of the veterans at just 27 of the Titans. Been with the team for a while now. They've got a definite nucleus there. Coach Rigg building something.
Takes off on the pitch, Mercury.
Yeah, jammed. Sobello tries to make a play, but the wind just grabs the ball and takes it, and it's a foul.
Not a bad pitch to do it on as well. 2-2 count with 2 out in the bottom of the third, just perhaps to create that a little bit extra offensive pressure, because the Queensland defence have just stood right up today so far in the game.
Yeah, spot on, James. And now they've got something to defend. Steamers gets a change up low. She gets underneath it, which forces her to hit the ball high, and the great centre fielder that is Jade Wall reads it beautifully and comes in taking the ball on the dirt as she retires the Titans. As we go into the top of the fourth, it's Queensland 2, Victoria 0.
Steamers had a good piece of the ball. It's perhaps lifted it a little, but I didn't mind it because this breeze is causing a little bit of chaos, and Jade Wall had to brake pretty hard to get to the fall of the ball. She did it with ease. She made it look very easy. It's tough conditions out there with that wind blowing quite heavily, and the sun around about 1:30 in the afternoon here in Adelaide. It's going to be right above your head as well. So we'll judge catch from Jade Wall.
Martin's going to continue here for the Titans, and leading off for the Queensland Heat is their left fielder Rhianna Kemp. So thank you for all those people that are online watching and supporting your teams. Let us know where you're watching from. Tell us who you're supporting. Kemp aggressively gets after the first one. Kemp chases it high in the zone. Schaefer got a difficult catch here. She makes it look easy as she tracks the ball into her glove. It swirls around in the high above the infield here on Diamond 2.
Well, infielders and outfielders have been in the plays. Anything that's lifted is just holding up in the wind, and a couple of good catches from both sides of the diamond in these tricky, windy conditions.
First pitch, it's Sivanasiva who's gone after it as Steamers and Martin meet to catch the ball.
Yeah, a bit of communication, both players wanting it, and I think the coaches probably would have backed the first base player there. They don't want the pitchers to go outside the circle if they don't have to, but it was Martin that took the catch.
So quickly like that, it's 2 out here, and it's the catcher Mortiz Sabello. Takes a strike. Martin challenges. Sorbello meets her out in front, fouls it off over the catcher's head for another strike. Behind in the count. No balls, 2 strikes. Live softball action coming to you from West Beach, South Australia. It's game 11 of the 75th Gilley Shield here, being held at West Beach, South Australia. Currently Victoria chasing the Queensland team 2-0. It's 2 out in the bottom of the 4th. Martin just misses to the Queensland catcher. The Titans chasing a couple of runs. New South Wales up over Western Australia on the other diamond. You can tune in there live and check that action out on Spacequake Sports. All the games live, and it looked like that pitch.
Foul or hit by pitch?
I was about to say that looked like it hit her. Well, that's just the best breaking ball I've ever seen of all time. That went at a right angle. Off the bat.
Yeah, still only 2-0 on the other game on Diamond 1.
Ball in the dirt, well taken by Rick behind the plate. Wind continuing to swell here at West Beach. And low, Sorbello picks a walk. Umpire Clark gets asked the question, and he said, no, she did not swing and take that walk. Speed up brawl as Soraya Hansen comes in. Dorinda Stone is the plate batter. It's 2 out. So Soraya gets sent, and Rigg throwing into this strong headwind. As I was saying before, James, that ball just pulls up short, tails out, and looks like she's done herself a mischief just sliding into the base there. Hands first. Rihanna Kemp in the last game, James, laid down a bunt in the game against New South Wales and slid into first base. So, Superman jump.
Yeah,
Superwoman jump, sorry.
You can see from the Eastern replay that when she dove in, the left arm sort of buckled as she hit the base. So, sports trainer or physio is checking it out. Everyone seems to be...
Yeah, she's staying out there, so hopefully she's okay.
Just a quick score update from the other diamond. New South Wales have just scored a bunch in a heartbeat. It's out to 6-0.
Oh, wow.
It was 2-0 about 90 seconds ago.
Stacey Porter's not batting again, is she? Dorinda Stone smashes a line drive that any other day would have been a stand-up single and RBI scoring opportunity. But the wind's just taken that ball and pushed it out to the left field fence, and it turns into a foul ball. No reward for a great piece of batting from the third baser from Queensland.
Yeah, anything that's hit down the line today is going to go foul.
Gets underneath that one. First base Steamers comes down and takes the catch. So, base runners for the Queensland Heat, but unable to extend their lead further. Victoria Titans right of reply as Coach Rick pulls his team together just out the front, as he'll be highlighting the importance of the next half an hour for the Titans. They're 2-0 down here in the bottom of the fourth in what is an important game, as we're about to complete round one today of the Gilley Shield, and that sees Victoria already having played 3. This is their 4th game. They've only got the 1 win. WA have picked up an extra win with another great game today with a win over the ACT Diamonds this morning. That puts them in front of the Titans, and Queensland just coming off of a loss. They've only got the 1 game left.
Anthony's just been interrupted by a video highlight of Taylor Tissakonis hitting a home run for New South Wales to go out to a 7-run lead in the 4th.
She's a genuine rock star. She looked likely. She got a couple of change-ups today and got under them and just couldn't sort of clear her hands to be able to do it. So,
well, they've now scored at least 7 in every one of their games and kept their opposition to 0 in their first 4 games. Look out Victoria later on today in the 5:30 game.
I'm looking forward to actually watching that one. So Kari Pritchard's just talking about change-ups, has just swung over one. She falls behind in the count here, 2 strikes.
Do you think KP still thinks that New South Wales are the underdogs?
I never even got a chance to talk about any of that stuff today, mate, because I was by myself for the first hour. And I remember that game that you did in the 23s by yourself, and how I had no idea how tough it was, and I must have sounded so. Pritchard chases up high and is struck out for the first out of the innings. I didn't realise how hard it was, and I must have sounded like some monotone, just reading the paper. Like,
well, I
apologise to anybody that was watching that.
I heard it got worse because you had a gentleman join you.
I got saved by a blue umpire. I never thought I'd say that.
World Baseball Softball Hall of Famer Neville Lawrence, Softball Australia Hall of Famer, Softball SA Hall of Famer.
And gee, did the comments light up when he got on? Far out. I love him.
Never wrong, Neville. Nifty Nev.
Catherine Lamel has Cat Lamel. Catherine Lamel has grounded out to the second base player for the Heat.
Is she not a character in an old 90s movie? Catherine Lamel? Don't know. Beck Schaefer. Every time you see her, she looks comfortable, she looks relaxed, she
was in all the plays last innings, so he had 2 balls hit to her, plus a good catch. Takes the high pitch across the letters for a strike. Schaefer, change up. McNamara's pitch just fell away at the plate. Up in the zone. Schaefer good enough to stay off it. Hayden Masson wants to know, James, what are the chances of New South Wales going through the tournament without being scored against? Can you answer that?
Very good chance, with the likes of Parnaby, Plain, Ladner, Rickson doing their pitching. It's hard to see where the runs are going to come from.
Shannon Downing is cheering on the Victorian bats, telling them to light up. 2 out here in the bottom of the 4th. It's the shortstop, Beck Schaefer, behind in the count, underneath that ball, flies it out to left field. That's not going to be an easy catch, but even though Rhianna Camp makes it look so, as she's retires the Titans for the innings, as we now move into the 5th. As you see here on the Eastern replay, eyes on the ball the whole way, but you can just see she's being dragged towards that fence on the outside. As being close to the beach, we've had to get that wind coming off the sea. It just keeps pushing that ball inland. Queensland starting to have some activity in their bullpen. Catchers starting to put gear on. So Zali Summers, who was the starting pitcher against New South Wales in the earlier game today, did a very good job. And just in the end, it was just too much quality from the Fire Stars, and young Solomon came on for the close.
Diamond 1 hit parade continues for New South Wales. Still in the 4th. There's 2 runners on. The lead's out to 9-0.
Well, that means they might have that decent break that they want. Getting ready for the Titans at 5:30 in the late game here on Diamond 2.
And there's none out here in the 4th, so if they plate one more, they're 3 outs away from ending that game.
Nicole Martin continues to lead the Titans defence here from the middle. And for Queensland, they've come back to the top of the lineup. It's right fielder Rena Tatsumi.
And WA just have to be wary of that run differential as well. They don't want to give up too many runs, because if they're tied on points, say with a Victoria or an ACT, in that battle for 4th place, it'll come down to runs against as the tiebreaker at the end of the round. So yeah, we heard Lang Harris say at the 23s, is it a technical play to allow them that 1 run?
Yeah, absolutely. Victoria starting to have some activity in their bullpen as well. Looks like Caitlin Laird, the flex, is starting to do just that. At the same time as we know that the Queensland players themselves also, their battery starting to get some activity going as well. Tatsumi takes another pitch on the outside. This game poised here in the 5th. As you say, James, as a national championships, there's just no time. You don't have time to just build into the tournament. It's just on. And, you know, these shorter tournament formats, more games in the day. Tatsumi goes out to left field and the ball tails away to the fence for a foul.
You know what I found interesting about the bullpen for Victoria is that it's a good 60 metres away from the dugout, and Coach Riggs made the walk all the way out there to talk to his pitcher, see how far away she is from being ready. So that change is imminent as we come to the top of the Queensland order for the 3rd time through.
Yeah, which is why you think that there's that activity there, even though Martin's been good today, just hasn't had a great deal of luck. The field's been pretty solid behind her, but a couple of those plays, it just wasn't much that anybody could really do because the ball was just either in the air for too long. It's tricky conditions down here on Diamond 2. Tatsumi doesn't think that it's tricky as she's just smashed the ball out to centre right field all the way near to the fence, and she's just hit a stand-up double, easy as you like. Great batting by the Queensland Heat leadoff.
Yeah, she smoked that into the centre right alley, giving her team every chance now to capitalise with a lead-off double.
Coach Dimitrovic has come out to check in on the pitcher and the infield. So Queensland now in the 5th, top of the 5th. Just see here on the Eastern replay, that's a great shot considering she's hitting that into a very strong wind off the sea. That's a great piece of batting. Well recovered by the field out there quickly. Didn't turn it into a triple. They made it stop it too. But the game poised now in the top of the 5th. Queensland 2, Victoria 0, but now they have a runner in scoring position. 2 out.
Whitefield's already had a hit and a walk in the game.
Yep.
And then you've got Jade Wall, who's been intentionally walked once already in this game.
On deck.
She's on deck, yeah. So I think that timeout was to buy some time, just to make sure that, well, potentially Caitlin Laird. I can't see that far down to the bullpen to see who it is warming up.
Whitefield aggressively first pitch, gets after it and fouls it off.
And really, it's only a 2-run lead.
That's the first time my son's done anything nice for me. He's just dropped us a couple of coffees and a chocky bar. Well done, son.
Magnificent. Because I know one of the two of us started to nod off there for a minute.
Yeah. I did send him a message as soon as I noticed that your head hit the table. Bring down 2 coffees, please, son. And he's delivered. So good job, Ryan.
Well, I can't say that I was the last to leave last night because I know you were here till after midnight, setting up Bar 66 and Red Stars Cafe for today.
Whitefield, bang, out to right field. Ball swells. What a great catch by Mercury. She comes running in, and look at that throw. Wow, that was very, very close. Great fielding by the right fielder, Mercury. You just see here, she's running from the grass onto the dirt, and as she does, she's made a great throw, and the throw just a touch wide, and that's allowed Tatsumi to get in over to third base.
Look, I don't think there's any limit on the amount of intentional base on balls in the game. I'd be tempted. I would be tempted with a runner on, you're chasing 2 already.
Yep. And Lee says this all the time. Don't let her hit. Don't let her do it. And how many times did it always? Anyway.
Swinging one of the hottest bats in the competition at the moment, Jade Wall. She's a veteran. Look at her. She looks so fit. She's a unit. She's
That's a great pitch by Martin, though. Jamming her on the hands there.
And I mentioned it yesterday. It makes you sick because she's a lovely person as well.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Nothing like her brother.
Don't you hate that? Oh, right.
Her brother's terrible.
Oh,
Jono.
right. Oh, right. Well, there you go, Jono. That's James Harris just parting, just giving some feedback there. Nothing to do with me at all. Martin challenges her up. Ball gets underneath it, out to left field, and Lammel takes the catch, and it's a bang play at the plate as the sacrifice. Tatsumi tags up and makes a run for it, and the throw was there, and the ball just comes out, and Queensland take another shot.
Easton Repo, this is magnificent softball. Sacrifice fly to Jade Wall. Watch Lamel take a catch in or on the foul line, and then she throws it inside the diamond, knowing the ball's going to tail away with that wind.
Great.
It was probably 30 centimetres in this play. Let's have a look on slow-mo into home. Well, it's Tatsumi with the wheels, beat out the throw in the end, but that was great softball.
Great softball IQ by the left fielder, Kat Lamel. So that's
well, lead-off double was all the difference, wasn't it?
Yep. Queensland bats coming alive late in this game, and they extend their lead now to 3, as Victoria now pretty much now left with 9 outs to level this game before they even have to consider going ahead. So Titans under pressure here. It's going to need a big comeback. Somebody's going to have to stand up. We know that they will be back in the heart of their lineup. The shortstop for Queensland, Yamani, just throws her hands, batting in the 4 spot. It's a pretty big achievement when you're batting between Wall and McNamara for Queensland. But she's got genuine speed and she's got genuine power. She's been rock solid in the field. Turns on this one fast, and it goes down the third baseline.
Yeah, 1 or 2 Japanese players in this lineup, Tatsumi and Yamane. Handy additions to this Queensland team. Almost a like-for-like replacement for the Kurihara sisters that we saw last year.
Well, she's been in the squad for a couple of years, and this could have been her, her third actual Gilley Shield, but she's had to go back to Japan. And so, but she's been with the team for a while as she fouls this one over the first base bench. And she was a Denso in Japan, and was, when she came out here a couple of years ago, also down in Adelaide, great friends with the GOAT, Stacey Porter, who obviously plays her ball up in Queensland for the Brisbane Panthers. As she continues to foul the ball off over the right side. So yeah, that's obviously good company to keep. Fighting hard here to be the next base runner for the Heat. Sending up the pitcher, McNamara, next on deck. Martin in the dirt. Victorian pitching relief has finished their work. Could be Caitlin Laird, could be Cerise Bonner. Not sure from this distance. Just stabs at that one over to right field. McCurry, fast as anything, meets it just over the line, and it's another foul, all on the right side. Temperature dropping here at West Beach. It's not a constant breeze, it's just a 1 minute there's not much of it, and then it's blowing paper everywhere. So conditions changing all the time. And what a great fighting at bat by Yamani as she's lined it up the middle and she's got herself on. What a great fighting at bat that is.
Yeah, I saw a lot of pitches, just kept fouling off pitches out of her wheelhouse, and then gets one that she wants and drills it up the middle. You mentioned the weather, Anthony. The Bureau app says 21.5. Feels like 17 at West Beach.
Feels like 17. Obviously, they don't have a weather station on Diamond 2 at West Beach because it feels like closer to 12.
Well, I was just going to say that. I was going to say that in the local weather app, though, it says West Beach Diamond 2, 21.5. Feels like minus 11.
Yes, that's correct. Yes, it is cold here now. Oh, Yamuni, she's come off the base and looks like she's trying to create a rundown, and she's safe.
Just caught in a trap.
That's great heads-up base running. She came off too far. Rig throws the ball in front of the runner as she's supposed to. Yamane didn't seem to panic and rush back. Seems like, if anything, she was trying to draw the play, but Schaefer having none of it and sends her back.
I've only seen 2 trap plays in this tournament, and both times the defense have done the bare minimum. That's get them back to where the runner started from, but both throws were too late back as well. So I think a little bit more aggression on the trap play is required, but so far so good for the defense. Haven't given up any bases on a trap.
McNamara takes another pitch. Just looking through the crowd, Australian selectors Joyce Lester and Janelle Barents just in behind the pitcher catcher there. You can just see him off to the left on screen. You've got Joyce on the right, Janelle on the left. Janelle's in the hoodie, and they're obviously just discussing the future of women's softball as they're here for the selection along with Lang Harrow. McNamara challenged. Schaefer shuffles in and attacks this one, and that's the right play to make because she's throwing McNamara out as the Heat are retired, but not before they've added an extra run. Just see on the Eastern replay, great play there by Beck Schaefer, the shortstop for Victoria. Great footwork, shuffles in, great stand-up throw, and Kylie Steamers, who makes the field small. Just great timing with her lead-ins. The Titans now, bottom of the 5th, in the heart of their lineup. They're going to need to start to come up with some answers.
Thanks to the Red Stars Cafe and Bar 66. Come down to West Beach and try out the specials that they've got on. Hot dog day today, you said that before.
That's right.
We go around the diamonds thanks to Red Stars Cafe and Bar 66. It's still 9-0 as we go to the 5th inning. So
about 10 minutes ago you said it was none out.
It was none out in the 4th, so obviously some good defense from WA, but that does mean that New South Wales get to bat again. They've scored 32 runs, 34 runs in the tournament so far, yet to give up a run.
Titans looking forward to that clash at 5:30, which will come to you live on Diamond Sports, Spacequake Sports, sorry, my apologies. First pitch out to Satsumi at right field as the third base player, Sarah Bills, wastes no time.
We're at the Diamond Sports venue.
We are sorry, I got my sports mixed up. I apologise. So
Galkina. So first change made for Victoria. Paulina Galkina is coming in for a pinch hit.
Kerry Franklin makes a good point on the feedback of the broadcast. The weather's better than it was last year. If you remember,
we're in May.
Yeah, it was. I think the 23s was a lot harder work than the Opens, but your grand staff did a great job, as they've done this time round again in preparing 2 quality diamonds.
If you'll indulge me for a second,
Go for it.
It takes an absolute army of volunteers to help to run a tournament and an event. The staff at Softball SA are absolutely brilliant in helping to coordinate, and even Bianca Sierra, who's the national events coordinator who works out of the Adelaide office, has been run off her feet. So thank you so much to everyone who's given their time to either help out even for 5 minutes. It is impossible to run this without the people within the sport, and must come together as a community. So special thanks to every single person who's helped get this tournament up and running.
Well, we put a couple of shout outs yesterday, and we got Hall of Famer Annie Fidge on the bar last night for a couple of hours as Galkina fouls the second pitch off after she ducked and evaded the first. This morning we put a shout out needing some help. Nat Mead, coach of the Glenelg Rebels here in the local C-Max Premier League, came down to the ballpark, and she's now working in behind the bar. So the defensive switch is on. As you can see, Whitefield has come into shallow second base. Brett Tyler down there at the third base line says no, she did not. So we put a couple of call outs, and some people have come and helped out. But yes, we need as many people as we can to keep helping us. So we appreciate that. Galkina, she's laid it out. Oh, McMahon, it's come off the front of her glove. The throw has gone wild. And is this the opportunity that the Titans were looking for?
Yeah, the deep pockets, in foul territory here on the backfield on Diamond 2 on this multi-purpose diamond. It's easily an extra base on an overthrow or a wild throw in the infield. Sometimes it can be extra bases. So runner in scoring position now for Victoria with 1 out.
Coach Riggs made the change. Change has brought a base runner. Still plays small. Galkina off the spill by Sorbello at the plate has allowed Galkina to make it to third. And so now number 9 hitter, the catcher, Kiara Rigg, 1 out. Caitlin Laird, the on-deck hitter. Is this the door opportunity that the Titans need to get back into this game in the bottom of the 5th? Rigg, that's going to fall in, or did she take that catch?
No catch called by third base umpire, so Galkina is able to score. Sorry, I saw the
I
safe
couldn't
call.
see from here. Yeah, thank you for that. What a great effort by Jay Wall to charge in under that. But Rigg, the number 9, ball's fallen just short. Centerfield's just caught the ball 30 feet behind second base. What's that about? As you can just see here, what a great effort by Wall.
Huge by Wall.
And but the Titans on the board.
It's the great Wall.
As Rigg scores a single RBI, as the Titans now get 1 back as they come back through the top of their lineup.
Getting on the board at this time of the game is massively important, because now they're only chasing 2 with a couple of innings up their sleeve, and they've got a little bit of momentum.
Titsakronis has just hit another home run to make it 12 zip over on Diamond 1. The Rockstar continues to light it up on the Spacequake Sports media feed. Laird here at 1 out, looking to keep the Titans in it. Gets a ball across the letters at the front. McNamara challenges her hard and fast on the inside. Laird good enough to stay off it. Shout out there from one of the new Spacequake commentators, acknowledging the good work that you do, big fella, and all the staff that you have working for you. We all love doing it. So she'll be on the mic with you tonight, I believe. Or somebody. I haven't looked past the next.
Yeah, well, it's a flat-out roster today for the commentators.
Laird hits the ball over to right field, second base, as Whitefield defensively stays well behind the ball, makes a good solid play as she retires Laird. But Rigg's been advanced to second. She gets replaced in the speed-up rule.
Yeah, Kylie's on at 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
And who's she on with?
SAWA. With me.
Yes.
I worked with her yesterday for the Queensland WA game. Thoroughly enjoyed it. She's much better at it than you.
Yeah, no, well, getting home at 1 a.m. I wasn't able to review the tape. Mercury here as 2 out. At 2 out is one of the form batters in the Titans lineup here.
Well, they've got to capitalise here, don't they? Queensland have been able to capitalise on their opportunities. Now Victoria have to. It's their 2-hitter up to bat. They've got a runner in scoring position. They're still chasing a couple of runs.
Yeah, I don't know. I see a situation like this. You put your coaching helmet on. Do you send the runner, be aggressive with the swirling wind, get it a third, so you put the pass ball into play. Mercuri only has to then put the ball into play to make it a question mark, or do you just stand there and let her bat and give her a bit of protection? That's why Coach Rigg gets paid the big bucks. Outside, Mercuri, discipline, stays out of it. 3 balls and a strike. Fouls that off. Sorry, got the count wrong. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Next game coming up on the broadcast. It'll be 3 p.m. It's the local SA Stars, the reigning national championship, plays the ACT Diamonds. Change up, Mercuri, and the Titans are stopped in their tracks. They're going to go into the top of the 6th. The Heat with a 2-run lead. The Victoria have got 1 back. Question is, they're leaving it pretty late here. I think you said before, James, that there was probably going to be some changes made. I see Coach Riggs pointing left, right and centre. So it'll be interesting to see if there are some changes. I think there's a change in the middle.
25 is Therese Bonner.
So there has been. Super impressive in her starting of her work yesterday in the first game. I saw her play, so she's come on for Martin after Martin's 5 innings of work.
Just trying to listen in for any other changes.
Yeah, I think there is another change too, or maybe somebody's not wearing a hat this time.
Brodie Hendy, it looks like.
That's
is the other change.
Well, they've got to ring some change. They've got to make some changes because they've got to try and make something happen here because it's getting late. And as we've highlighted a couple of times in the broadcast today, it's important, this game, you know, considering what's to come still. After the 3 o'clock game today, it's 5:30. It's Victoria versus New South Wales here on Diamond 2. So that'll be a cool one in the swirling wind. I reckon if you're doing the 8 o'clock with Kylie, I've got a sneaking suspicion that means that I'm on the 5:30 down here again. So looking forward to that, because anytime I'm getting to watch New South Wales at the moment is the way they're playing. But Victoria continuing to fight hard here. They're going to need to fight super hard now because Rihanna Kemp, the left fielder for the Queensland Heat, is going to lead off in the top of the 6th.
Well, I always like to look after my team, so I brought my puffy blanket so you can put it over your legs.
Is that what that was over on the... Yeah, Kylie wrapped me up in a blanket last night because I was... Every time somebody had made a...
Yes, you are. You're on the call, 5:30 with the great man, Eric Bolner.
Oh, looking forward to that in a big way.
He's going to feel like he's back home in Canada.
Yeah. He's doing his first call with another new commentator that you've been able to
Peter Williams, yeah,
on short notice, which we appreciate that, Peter. So
how's the symmetry in the commentary box? We've got Peter Williams sitting in the Gillian Williams Pavilion. Jill's son.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. And I just thought their names were the same for no apparent reason. That's probably why you're paid the big bucks and I'm not.
Well, our man
Kemp, 1-1 on the count as Bonner asked the question, Kemp good enough to stay off it?
Well, I think the changes come at the right time as Kemp hits 6, the 3rd time round the lineup, which means that the top of the order won't be exposed to Martin, who's done a really good job. It gives Bonner an opportunity to get through a couple of batters, hopefully get through a couple of batters without too much damage. I mean, it's going to be tough with the likes of Kemp, Sivanasiva, the strength of the Queensland lineup. But, yeah, timing of the change has been good.
And it's a lead-off walk for Kemp, who that sends Sivanasiva to the plate at none out. Sorbello, Stone, Tatsumi to follow. Tatsumi starting to look real good. Stone's had great solid contact. So danger signs here. Bonner, task in front of her. Small ball, but just great base running as, again, that ball just gets held up. The speed of Kemp slides under the tag of Schaefer.
Well, she timed that jump to perfection because it almost seemingly looked like it wasn't even the catcher's glove, or out of the pitcher's hand, I should say, before she even took off. So great running from Rhiannon Kemp.
Still playing small ball here as Sivanasiva's now taken 2 pitches. And now gets her first opportunity to swing away by the look of it. Behind in the count. And line drive rocket down the third base line. And again, we keep talking about it, but the breeze just keeps taking it away, pushing it towards the fence. Tell you what, when Kat Lamel puts her time card in today, she's been super busy out there today. Taken some great catches, had a couple of great at-bats as well.
It's also why the game's so hard as well. You hit the ball so well like that, only for it to go foul, and it's all for nothing. Strikeout now.
Oh, no.
Was that not?
I thought that was... I shouldn't... Yeah, no, Sivanasiva, that first pitch on the steal must have been a ball. Sorry, I thought it was a
strikeout.
Yeah, I was going to... Yeah, right. No, it was right.
There's 5 people just sitting side by side wondering what's happening, and
getting gaslighted.
So Mr. Spacequake just keeping us in check here, making sure that we know what's going on, but it's all working. He's working hard too as well. Here we go. Mark Rigg, the coach for the Victorian Titans, coming out now after one batter.
yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? Is she having some trouble with the landing foot? Because
Yeah, just made a pitching change and...
Oh, he wants a one-on-one word.
Yeah, right. He's just pulled the pitcher away, having a chat there.
But isn't that interesting? I'd love a side-on view if you've got one, but...
They've done some cool, quirky things.
Well, that's the Queensland coach and the on-deck batter, Dorinda Stone, as Mark Riggs finished his very close quarters conversation.
I love it. I love the theatre of it. It's all good. So, Matisse Sorbello, the catcher, comes to the plate at 1 out. Kemp, the runner, at 2. It's the 6th innings. Queensland 3, Victoria 1. Bono has just come into the game for Nicole Martin.
Tell me, you're the coach, coaching expert out of the two of us. Is that conversation anything to do with the batter? Is it the context of the game? Is it just to create that theatre that you mentioned?
Yeah. Awesome question. I mean,
maybe put a little bit of extra pressure on the young batter coming to the plate.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, like I mean, with all the great people that you've got down here at the ground today, that's a question that I would ask a much better coach, because the reality is there would have to be a reason behind it why you would change a pitcher, and then after the first batter, he's either seen something in the first 4 pitches that's needed him to actually burn a timeout to go and actually then separate your pitcher from the infield and have something to chat. So, yeah.
And the infield was standing downwind as well, so they wouldn't have missed any of that conversation.
Finding a smarter coach than me would be worth asking that question. A walk for Sorbello as Bonner doesn't seem to be struggling. That was just a walk. It was ball swirling around. Just missed on some edges. I don't think there's anything particularly wrong, but I'll tell you what, who is a dangerous batter in a situation like this is the third base for the Queensland Heat. That's Dorinda Stone. And she's at the plate now with 1 out. But this is the same thing. Like, I know that with Rig behind the plate, you know, the saving the arm, you know, walking forward, and rather than just throwing so many pitches. Yesterday they had the sequence where they were doing the multi throws behind the plate. Rig leaves it there a little bit longer. Bonner's last 8 pitches are 2 strikes and 6 balls. So, I mean, she started the innings with a strikeout. I mean, like...
Well, she finished the batter, didn't she? Did she finish Kemp?
Well, Kemp's out there.
Yeah, who got a walk?
Stone gets underneath it, and the busiest outfielder at West Beach today, Caitlin Mills, had to make ground. Schaefer met her there, beat her there actually, and it's gone foul.
Well, just the 1 out was a strikeout. Tallulah Sivanasiva, 2 runners aboard, a 1-2 count. So she's ahead of the count here, Bonner.
Stone chases it up. Steamers, ball swirling around, does a good job making a great catch. And that's the 2nd out for the innings. Catch a speed up. Sorbello comes out for the pinch runner. Soraya Hansen, who we thought might have injured her hand sliding into second before, but she's run back out there, so she must be okay. Queensland return to the top of the lineup. It's right fielder Rena Tsusumi. Yes, if the score stays like this, that game at 5:30 is going to become even more important for the Titans. Watch that game here live on Spacequake Sports. All 34 games of the Gilley Shield 75th edition live. Inside for a strike. Shallow outfield here. Have to be considering the breeze. Mercury at right field looks like she's about 20 feet off the grass. That's on the grass, and that's it.
Well, that's probably because the last time Satsumi came to the plate, she roped one to the fence into the centre right alley. Nice, hard, flat shot. Just kept going and going.
Ball flies up in the air, and just had some great feedback from awesome viewers, and I appreciate the shout out. My apologies for not picking up on it earlier from Eden and from Louise, but the superstar that is Casey Smith has come in to left field for Kat Lamel, so great to see the young talented player for Victoria out there. She'll be up for an at-bat shortly as well. So these are deep counts at the moment. They feel like they're all going to 6-7 pitches.
It's only the 5th batter of the inning. It feels like this inning may have gone for about 15 minutes.
High. Steamer's going to pick up her 2nd catch for the innings to retire the Heat. So they'll come into the 7th with the top of their lineup, Whitefield, Wall and Yamane to bat. But before that, in the bottom of the 5th, sorry, it'll be the Titans looking to try and get 2 runs back. McNamara continuing in the middle. Coach Riggs has rung his changes, so we'll see some changes in their batting lineup now, with obviously a couple of new players that have come in, Hendy and Casey Smith. So be interesting to see what happens now. Don't feel that Victoria are that far away. They don't feel like they've had a great deal of luck. But the Queensland bats, they've just been able to string together the hits that they needed to when they have.
Yeah, it looks like the change worked as well, the pitching change for Victoria, as Bonner, although he pitched 2 walks, or there was 2 walks in that inning, they got out of it pretty well. And just a score update over on Diamond 1. The game is over, 12-0 in favour of New South Wales in 5 innings.
So they'll get an extra bit of a break there. They're 2.5 hours away from their next game down here. Kylie Steamers, the first base player who took 2 catches in that last innings, leads off the Titans here. Didn't know if she was wearing the sunnies before, but she's wearing the sunnies now when she's batting. It has become a bit brighter here today. This afternoon. Steamers smashes that ball down the third base line. Stone had no chance as it was wide foul. Lots of support for Victoria, trying to get them up and about and across the line. Lots of support for Queensland. Tell us where you're watching from. We're interactive here at Spacequake Sports. Brooke McNamara pitches to Kylie Steamers, who swings through and just misses. Falls behind in the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Change up by McNamara. Stever stays off it. Levels the count up at 2-2. Another foul ball, this time just behind the third base bench. Steamers all well in front, hence the change up we saw.
Another foul ball. Well, I can just see that Queensland, we just saw from the shot from Spacequake Sports, that the Queensland bullpen coming into the dugout, it's bottom of the 6th. And they don't have another game today, so pitcher just staying warm just in case. But McNamara's been pretty good so far. She gave up a run last inning, but looking sharp early here in the bottom of the 6th.
Don't see any reason why you wouldn't. I mean, I wouldn't suggest even that her pitch count would have wanted that. Summers through most of it, so I'm imagining it's either Solomon or the veteran Holden, and there would be no need to bring Holden in, you would think, when you've only got an innings or 2 to play. So it might be the young superstar that is Solomon, who was the winning pitcher in the under-23 national finals against South Australia here, just only back in December. But yeah, good point.
Well,
and
this one goes into the deep corner. I was just going to say that.
And Steamers has gone for it as she rounds first, makes her way to second on.
Is that the first walk that's a double?
A double.
Can you get a double? A double walk?
Yeah, and Coach Jenkins here, he's just coming out, I think, to...
Well, I was going to say, so that pitching change may come
McNamara
if there's a couple of hits.
Well, McNamara didn't even, there was no hesitation. Like, as soon as there was a base runner, that was it. She came straight off. So it'll be interesting to see. And it's Holden, who's, sorry, I didn't see that Holden had been warming up. Oh, they've hid that very well.
Sandy Holden.
So they've brought the veteran out to close this game up because it's an important game for the Heat, because they've obviously lost to New South Wales today, but if they can get out of this and go into having played 5 and won 3, lost 2, that's a pass mark for the Heat, I would think, going in. So they're looking for the experience to close it out.
Yeah, they're the first team to 5 games.
So lots of people around Australia tuning in. James, you'd love this. Lots of people in Victoria. Emily in Sydney looking for Neville to come back. Don't know about that. Red Sox Softball Club, Brisbane, Queensland. Shout out to their club members, Emily Solomon, Soraya Hampson and Dorinda Stone. So Red Sox Softball Club getting right behind some of their players, which is great to see. Nanny's watching it from Cairns, far north Queensland. Big fan of Brooke, love that. And one of the local South Australian great players of the Premier League, Tamika Penglaze, on the couch at home. How lucky are you? She's pushing for a late charge from Victoria. Well, Brody Hendy's going to try and see if that's capable here with Kylie Steamers at second base. It's none out. Hendy's first at bat for the day. Shows bunt. Dorinda Stone, very, very shallow at third base. Looking to jump all over that infield, all inside the line. Out. Bunt as Holden makes a great quick play there at first base as she retires Hendy. But Hendy's advanced steamers to third as Casey Smith comes to the plate for her first at bat of today, taking over at left field. Takes an early pitch. Ken Stevens watching from New Zealand. Shout out to you. You're watching Casey Smith for the Victorian Titans up against the veteran Sandy Holden for Queensland, looking to close the game out for the Titans as we're in the 6th. Queensland defending a 2-run lead. Queensland 3, Victoria 1. There's one out. First base, Kylie Steamers for Victoria is on third base. Here is the base runner. Smith takes a change up. For a strike. Behind in the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Drives hard at this one, fouls it off high over the third baseline. It's a very young Victorian side. 7 of their players were in the under-23s back in December. So, Coach Riggs and change up by Holden, strikes out Smith. She swings over the top of it.
Sorry, just went a little quiet there. I was just following up on something that you just mentioned before. So just making sure you're aware as I pass the note over to Anthony. And well, Victoria here with a runner on third with 2 out really need Schaefer to come through here.
Yeah, the veteran experience of Holden there. Just some great pitching against the young superstar from Victoria. From in Casey Smith, just swinging over the change. important for Victoria here. They've just got to try and score. Steamers just make this game 3-2 to go into the 7th. Then you're only chasing 1 in the last rather than chasing 2. Big at bat for Beck Schaefer, the shortstop.
That's good eyes as well, that outside edge. You don't want to leave that too often.
Sam, a big fan of your work, Gems. Another great change up there from Sandy Holden. So she's using all of her experience here as the young catcher Sorbello, calling some great pitches here. Up, Stone makes a great play. Oh, nearly gets to it as just lost her footing there for a brief second. Schaefer gets up underneath it, and she's just for a second, just tripped on her footing there as Stone wasn't able to get settled, but a great effort by her to get over to the fence and try and make a play.
Yep, a life for Schaefer.
Schaefer leans back on it. Left field, Rihanna Kemp just takes an easy catch just on the grass, right on the edge. The Titans continue to threaten, but they just can't string enough of it together simultaneously to put the pressure on. They keep fighting. It's Queensland 3, Victoria 1. We're now going into the top of the 7th.
3-1, 1 inning to go. Firstly, Titans need to shut down Queensland. Then they need to come up with 2 of their own.
Yeah, that's why that last, when Steamers got to 3rd, it was important that they tried to score that run, because then you go into the last inning, it's 3-2. You can try and engineer for 1 and at least take the game into extra innings, but now you're just chasing 2. But before you get to that, Bonner's got to contend with 2, 3, 4 in the Queensland lineup, led by Whitefield and Wall and Yamane. She's got to get through their heart of their lineup before they even worry about what they've got to chase. So some important at-bats coming up for the Heat, some important outs needed by the Titans, who are going to be back here on the televised stream at 5:30 when they play the New South Wales Fire Stars, who continue their unbeaten run today with 2 big wins. First of all, it was a 7-zip win over the Queensland Heat, including a walk-off home run by Stacey Porter over Centrefield before Taylor Titsikonis hit a couple of home runs in the 12-zip win over the Western Australia Flames. So, second base, Whitefield leads us off. Whitefield goes bang down the left field line. Beals throws a hand up at it, but it's gone foul just on the outside line. Catcher rig leaves the leather there a little bit longer. Doesn't change nothing, unfortunately, for her, as Whitefield now drives the ball. Schaefer, great backhand knockdown, but as she's brought her glove up, the ball's come out, and that allows Whitefield to reach first. You just see here on the Eastern replay, it was the first part of that fielding was sensational as she stayed low, goes straight into the glove, just lost it on the release. No luck for the Titans continues now as Whitefield's on, and Jade Wall comes up straight away. Whitefield steals second, but she's left a little bit early, and umpire Clark has rung her out. So Queensland lose their base runner, and Jade Wall will now try and replace her. Wall flies out to Schaefer, takes a good catch at shortstop. Shortstop, Yamane comes to the plate. Comes off the end of the bat. Hendy, first play of the day. She charges in, and the threatening lineup of 2-3-4 of the Queensland Heat is retired 2-3-4. And so the Titans 3 outs away from losing the game to the Heat. They need 2 to take it into extra innings. An extra run will get them the points that they so desperately need, knowing that we've got some big games coming up later today with some ramifications. SA play ACT in the 3 o'clock game on Diamond 1, streamed here live on Spacequake Sports. 5:30 out here on Diamond 2. It'll be Victoria and New South Wales, and then tonight's main game, the WA Flames up against the South Australian Stars at 8 p.m. So's one are coming down to the softball. It's hot dog day here from Bar 66, so get into the bar and get yourself one of the hot dogs made by one of our volunteers, all the staff in there. Shout out to Stacey Marrick and the crew. Thank you to Nat Mead, who's come down this morning and helped out. There's also a couple of great food trucks on site, so you plenty of opportunities to get yourself something to eat and drink and watch some of the best softball played in the country by the best softballers in the country. So we're in the 7th. Queensland holding a 3-1 lead. They've gone to the bullpen and brought out the experienced Sandy Holden to close this thing up and split their series today 1-1. For Victoria, they've also made some significant changes. Holden challenges up high in the zone. And Victoria have made a change. I believe it's Caitlin Caldwell. Or Kate, as she prefers to be known, my apologies. Coming in for her first at bat of today. Gets underneath it as it's been fouled off down the third base line. So, Titans lead off. Count becomes full. And Coach Riggs was looking for a lead-off, and that's exactly what he got, as Kate Caldwell has done that. So, the Titans get a runner on base. The change for the young outfielder. Polina Galkina. She lays down a great bunt. Holden stays low, makes the play. Good fielding as she throws Galkina out. Good bunt. Holden didn't have to do much to it, just came straight to her. But it allows Caldwell to get to second. And Kiara Rigg, big shot last at bat, comes to the plate at 1 out. She gets her first look at Holden today. Holden clips the front outside edge for a strike. Shows bunt, pulls the field in. It's gone over the third base as Coach Rigg holds up Caldwell at the play at third base. But a great shot by Rigg as she's lined the ball to left field. See here on the Eastern replay, just over Stone at third base. Nothing she could do there. And Coach Rigg holds up Caldwell. Now runners at 1 and 3, 1 out as New South Wales, as Victoria return to the top of the lineup. It's their leadoff, Caitlin Laird. Shows bunt, but the ball's hit her in the foot. So it'll be a hit by pitch. So not sure what's just happened here. Sounds like there's been a... So Kiara Rigg's been called out for leaving early. So it's a dead ball because of the runner leaving early for Victoria. So Caitlin Laird, hit by pitch, gets overlooked. As Laird drives the ball over to shortstop. The ball goes wide and Caldwell scores. Laird stands up at second. Coach Rigg now, you can see hands on his hips, just imagining what might have been with the extra base runner. So Yamani, good fielding, but the throw just gets away for Sinavasiva, and because of that, they pick up the extra base. So if Victoria wanted 2 hitters in their lineup to try and back Caitlin Laird in to tie this game up, they've got them. Amelia Mercury. Ball in the dirt, and Laird uses the opportunity to get to third base. Victoria coming hard in the last here. So, Queensland 3, Victoria 2, as the Queensland coaching staff, either Tyson or Ray, makes a good call timeout just to break the momentum of what was happening. I think Triggs still shaking his head in regards to the base running, but it is what it is. Caitlin Laird's at third. Amelia McCurry's at the plate. The dangerous power hitter, Kylie Steamers, is on deck. It's 2 out. Victoria chasing 1 to force it into extra innings. Queensland 1 out away from a 1-1 split of the series. So McCurry fouls it off, stays alive at the plate. Cold strike on McCurry. Behind in the count now. Ball and 2 strikes. McCurry flies this one up. It's shallow and it's been well taken by right fielder Rena Tasumi, and that's all that Victoria need. It's all that Queensland had needed to do to finish Queensland, and they go ahead and Queensland will win this game 3 runs to Victoria 2. Controversy at the end with some base running, but Victoria had some chances throughout the day, but they didn't have any luck. The bats of the Queensland Heat too strong in the end. So, we'll see you back on the live stream at 3 o'clock for South Australia versus ACT on Diamond 1, before Victoria play New South Wales on Diamond 2 at 5:30, and tonight WASA 8 PM here on Spacequake Sports. Thank you.